Phyllis and I have created a number of videos for you to describe some of the testing that we do in the office, just to make it easy for you at home. Some of these kits are going home with you so that you feel comfortable and you have the instructions. So there's a variety of tests that you might receive, but I just wanted to share with you a few important notes about testing. So we always say, we like to test instead of guessing, and of course we want to try as best we can to really razor in on what your concerns are and be able to provide you with the best treatment. So once we test, if we see something that's positive, where we have a finding, say we find yeast overgrowth or we find toxic mold in your system, or anything that we happen to be testing, if there's a vitamin deficiency, we're going to want to retest that. So most of the times what we'll do is, and each test might be a little bit different, but usually within a window of somewhere between 60 and 120 days, you will be given a test to repeat if it warrants that and there was a positive finding. So having done the test the first time, you'll sit down with myself, we'll go over the results, and just recall that you'll likely repeat the test within a 60 to 120 day period. Okay, so today Phyllis and I are going to go over with you the real-time Mycotox test. There's a number of different labs that do testing for mycotoxins. Those are the toxins from mold. Generally, we're talking about mold that's in a water damaged building produces certain toxins that are getting in through your skin, through your mouth, through your sinuses. So it's very important that if you've had a mold exposure or we suspect what we call mold illness or chronic inflammatory response, that we look for these toxins. Some of these toxins are really nasty. They can affect your liver, your kidneys, your nervous system, and cause a multi-symptom, multi-system response impacting your endocrine system, your brain, everything. You may have heard my story, but I got sick really bad from a mold exposure that I had both in a home and in an office place that I worked in. And it took me a long time to discover the problem, but long story short, it was years later that I was outside of the exposure and I still tested positive. My markers were very high. There's a number of different labs that do the Mycotox test, and different labs test it a little bit differently. So sometimes if we don't get a positive on one test, we might go to a different test. But this is generally the test that I prefer, is the real-time lab testing. There's also a test through Great Plains Lab, and you might have received that kit, and that will be similar instructions to the kit that we're giving you here. But one of the things that we want to do leading up to the test is we want to try to help your body to start to shed the toxins. Some of us don't detoxify them well, and they tend to circulate in the body, and they just keep going around and around. So if we gave you a binder to start using, that tends to pull some of those toxins out. But because some of us don't detox well, glutathione will help to, it's an antioxidant that your body normally has inside. It's already built in, your cells make this, it's predominantly made in the liver, and it helps to pull toxins out of the body as one of the many things that it does. So we want to make sure we're pushing the toxins out before the test so that we have a good test. So what you can do is 3 to 4 days before you start taking your test, before you're going to do the test, you just take 4 pumps of this, you spray it in your mouth, and you swish it around. The longer you can hold it in your mouth, the better for all of the products like this. Some people don't like the taste. I understand that, but it's important that you try to hold it in. If you need to take it with water, you can do it. You'll still get good absorption. But you're going to take 4 pumps in the morning, 4 pumps in the evening, 15 minutes at least away from food, and you're going to do that 3 to 4 days leading up to your test. Also, we'll recommend that you go into a sauna if you can. Not everybody has access, but if you can do a sauna beforehand, the night before you do your urine test, go ahead and do that. If you can't, maybe an Epsom salt bath that you can do the night before. You want to try to stimulate sweating, stimulate those toxins to come out, and also exercise if you feel you're up to that. All right, once you have the test results, I'm going to review those with you, and then generally speaking, we'll repeat the test after treatment, somewhere around 60 to 120 days.
So your kit comes like this little box, and everything that we talk about is included in the kit. So you'll have your lab requisition will be in there. The only thing that you will have to do, there'll be a space highlighted that you'll have to sign. Other than that, you don't have to worry about your lab rec, except making sure it's back in there. This is a urine test. You want to take your collection cup. This is your tube. You'll fill this halfway, a little more than halfway. There's an indicator line. You want to ship this within 48 hours. If you're not shipping this within 48 hours, you want to freeze this before. But get it in, we want it in for the first 48 hours. You'll put it in here.
And it does say, I understand the instructions that you can do it any time of the day.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. But I have a preference, if we could, let's get the first morning collection.
And then what you'll do, you'll put everything back in your box. Your urine sample, your lab requisition, make sure that's in, and then you will call FedEx. The number is on the bottom, and they will pick this up for you. And then when we get the results, we will get you in to see Dr. Lewis.
Yeah, and I just want to add that this is one of the tests that I feel has been life-changing, not just for myself, but for a lot of patients. And let's be clear, I don't blame all health concerns on mold toxin, although we certainly have a focus on that, because we've seen it with so many patients who have autoimmunity, who have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, who have irritable bowel syndrome. I mean, it just seems to always come up where unless we handle the mold toxin, they don't seem to get as healthy as they can. So it's not everything, but it can be very important, and it can be the main thing for some people. So people don't recognize mold toxin necessarily in the conventional healthcare system, even though Medicare and TRICARE pay for this test. So it tells you somebody thinks this is important, right? And these toxins that you see in these kits, on the test results, these are neurotoxic, and they are used in chemical warfare. So I'm not trying to scare anybody or create any kind of fear unnecessarily, but if you find this test and you have a positive and you correct it, people get so much healthier. And not just that, maybe you've been battling with your spouse or whoever it is, that just doesn't see what you're feeling. And now you have something that's actually showing, wait a second, I'm not crazy. This is happening. There's toxins coming out of my body in levels that are above and beyond what they should be, right? But again, I'm not here to spread fear. We're here to get you better. And I think this is just one step in the right direction.